What's good, America? It's your man, Big Flo, coming to you live with another great interview. The next guy, some of you fans out there, football fans in general, Notre Dame fans especially, are going to be really excited about my next guest. He's got 9,000 passing yards, 72 touchdowns, and most importantly, 30 wins, making him the all-time winningest quarterback in Indy history. Put your hands together for the pride of El Dorado Hills, California, Ian Book. What's up, Ian?
What's going on? Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Man, appreciate you making the show, man. I know it's a busy time for you right now, but we got a good crowd out there. People interested in the stories that we have and bringing guys like yourself. I was lucky enough to meet Ian about 3 or 4 years ago. 3 years ago, I think it was, at the Notre Dame Club event, and try to keep a relationship with you since then, and just watching you grow. Who knew at that time that it was going to grow to where we are today?
So crazy journey.
Crazy journey. So let's talk about the journey a little bit, how you get started. So you're from El Dorado Hills, California. You're coming out, looking at your list. How did you end up at Notre Dame? How did you pick them?
Yeah, so I grew up a UCLA fan. I wanted to play in the Pac-12. My brother liked USC, so it was kind of like I liked UCLA, just so we can go head to head there, and just wanted to play in the Pac-12. And then I was really considering Boise State or Washington State, and there was a coach named Mike Sanford. He was at Boise State. He ended up leaving, going to Notre Dame. So when he went to Notre Dame, I felt like I couldn't really wait around, and I kind of wanted to be first in the class and start recruiting some guys. So I ended up committing to Washington State and was committed there for 3 months, and thought I was going to go there for sure, and started recruiting some guys, and was going to join the air raid with Coach Leach and throw it 60 times a game. And I ended up getting a call from Coach Sanford. And he was like, "Hey, I'm all settled here at Notre Dame, and we want you to come out and visit. The campus and everything speaks for itself." And I just felt like I owed it. I don't really like when a guy's decaught, but I was like, I felt it to myself just because Notre Dame's Notre Dame. I ended up going out there, and I ended up making the switch 3 days later, and here I am now.
Oh, fantastic. So, coming into Notre Dame, looking at you, and I'm in prepping for the show and kind of looking at your history and seeing, your list. And, obviously there's a lot of guys that come into Notre Dame with huge fanfare. There was the one kid, probably Clausen, that came in with a helicopter and a fur coat, kind of a la Deion Sanders. And, you got all these other guys coming here. I know the year before you, Wimbush came in. He was a very highly touted quarterback. You had Zaire and Everett Golston and Kaiser and all these other guys.
Right.
Here's a guy coming in. You don't have as many offers kind of some of these guys, and you're whatever. How did that play into your decision? Obviously, you're fearless. You come out and you did that. How did that play into the decision, having all these big name guys ahead of you?
Yeah, I mean, wherever you go, you obviously know the depth chart. You're aware of who's there, but at the end of the day, I just felt like, if I just keep working hard, I'm going to be able to get my shot. And when I get my shot, I don't want to give it back. So I knew when I got there was 5 scholarship quarterbacks ahead of me, and I was really 6th string when I got there. And I knew after a redshirt year, things can happen, and they did. Deshaun went to the league, Malik went to Florida, and next thing you know, it's Wimbush and myself. And that's how college football works. So I just stay patient, keep working hard, and I felt like if I just kept working, I knew my potential. And honestly, I've had a chip on my shoulder my whole life, and talk about, I felt like I was under recruited a little bit, which was fine. I just felt like wherever I go, I'm going to work as hard as I can, and I'm going to prove that I belong there. So just kind of had that mindset going into everything, and it worked itself out.
It sure did. It sure did. And, you look at that through the history, and I started thinking about some of the quarterbacks and kind of the transitions there. Your coach, Tommy Rees, he wasn't supposed to be the man when he got there, but then he took over.
Right.
Deshaun Kaiser. I went to the spring game when Deshaun Kaiser was, I can't tell if he was a freshman or a redshirt freshman or whatever, but it was Zaire versus Golston. Whoever's going to win this. Kaiser got as many snaps in that spring game as Van Gorner's son. And then Kaiser goes down, or Golston transfers, and then Zaire
goes down.
He jumps in, Kaiser's in, and next thing you know, he's the man, and he kind of goes forward. I mean, it's that quick, right? So
that's how it works. That's
your opportunity in the middle of the Citrus Bowl. You got your first opportunity against North Carolina. You got your start. You won that game. You did well. You go into the Citrus Bowl in that game, and believe me, I know what it's like to get up in the morning and not think that you're going to play. How do you mentally prepare yourself for that? And what was that moment like when, hey, you're in halftime? Because it was a halftime switch, right? Or did they give a series to him after that?
Yeah, I had like the series probably right before halftime, and then I stayed in for the rest of the game. But it's tough, being the backup's hard. You just got to stay ready, stay warm, especially at Notre Dame, stay warm. But I just kept telling myself, when I get this opportunity, I don't want to give it back. So I wanted to be ready. So even before that, that whole year, I was preparing to be the starter, because quarterbacks go down. That's just the nature of the game. So when he was down and I was in for the North Carolina game, I was ready to go, and just kept preparing every day like I was going to be the starter. Kept preparing, knew I was going to get my opportunity, and then in the Citrus Bowl, I just didn't want to give it back. And we were able to win that game. Obviously, a pretty awesome win with that last minute one-handed catch, and it was just a confidence booster for the team and for myself. Felt like I could really do this thing and I belong, and just keep working hard and keep going and building, games on top of games and seasons on top of seasons.
As a fan of football, I'm watching that game, and I've seen some good years and bad years. So first of all, we're playing LSU SEC team. I'm tired of hearing about the SEC. So I watched that play, and I'm like, he just locked it up. Like, I remember thinking a lot, and then the receiver Miles Boykin, I know he came out of Chicago. So I remember in high school, he really wasn't having the career or whatever. And boom, all of a sudden that changes it on a dime.
Confidence is a crazy thing. I always say that, like, that changed Miles' career. And I felt like it changed mine too. I just felt like you do that and you prove yourself you can do this thing, and you let it roll. It happens a lot in college football.
Mm-hmm. Now, how is that from a relationship standpoint? I'm assuming that you and Wimbush were at least mildly friends or whatever. How is it? Because it's like your pain is my pleasure. I mean, it's unlike a receiver core or a running back core where you feed off of each other. It's me or you. Is that a tough way to keep maintain a friendship or relationship there, or is it just you just understand each other? Just this is how it is.
Yeah, Brandon Wimbush is one of my best friends, and that just shows the person that he is. Honestly, we were battling every day, and we knew that, and we knew they were going to pick, who they thought was the best to play, and he was showing that, and then I was able to, finish that off with the Citrus Bowl and keep going. But it just shows the person Brandon is, in my opinion. Honestly, he helped me. A lot of people might transfer immediately, stop talking to you, not help you at all. He's a good dude, and I respect him. He respects me, and he was a hell of a player, and he's still one of my best friends. Honestly, I talked to him probably 2 days ago. So those are the people that Notre Dame recruits, in my opinion. So it just shows the person that he is. He'll be a successful guy for forever, and definitely one of my best friends. And I can't thank him enough. But obviously, some points were awkward, but
yeah,
that's part of the game. And man, he helped me a lot in my growth as well.
That's fantastic. So, nowadays that seems like the norm is like guys transfer. From a quarterback position, I kind of get it. Although we could spend a whole show talking about if this guy didn't transfer, he would have been here. If Golston didn't transfer, he would have went back in as starter. If Gunnar Keel didn't transfer, he probably would have went in because Golston got put out. There's all these different stories about transferring. Now that transferring is opened up, I think they made the rule official. If they're not, it's going to any day now. You could transfer. People are going. What do you think about the whole kind of era of transferring and everyone being gone and having it open? Are you all for it? You think people should be a little bit have more staying power? I don't want you to be judgmental here, but just in general.
Yeah. I don't really know. I haven't spent much time on it because I'd never wanted to transfer. It's obviously hard having to start all over, but you got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. So I do understand it. What are they saying? The rules that you can now transfer one time having to sit out?
I think they're going to kill the grad transfer thing. I love the grad transfer.
I like the grad transfer. It seems like, all right, you paid your dues.
Yeah.
Now it's time,
So I look at it this way: is you transfer, you kind of like are pulling, like, okay, you go to Notre Dame, right? You went there for a couple of reasons. Why? It's great football and it's a great education. And you transfer and you leave it, and then you go downstream to not as much of a school. So now you're really saying I'm NFL or bust, right? Kind of the way it looks at it, unless you're just completely miserable, right? Yes, so I like the grad transfer because you graduate, you're in good standing, then you transfer, but you're still an alumni. You're still a good guy. Like, you can still come back to the barbecue. You know what I mean?
I agree. So I agree with you there. I don't know. I never planned on transferring, but I do see both. You got to do what's best for you at the end of the day. And if you're not playing at Notre Dame, you feel like you can play somewhere else or whatever the reason may be, then I guess one's okay. Hopefully, it doesn't get more than that.
Oh, yeah, more than one. So we'll see. Wow. So, well, I like the freedom a little bit, but going into it, I kind of see it both ways. So let's go back to your career. So you come in here, you start that job, you get the starting job in this bowl game. So you're pretty excited. You're thinking, all right, this spring is whatever. You blink, right? 3 years later, you're the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history. Notre Dame recruits
Yeah.
you late in the cycle. You're thinking about going to, the air raid, you're doing whatever in such a short time. And you'll probably think about how quick that time is even more as you get older, like my age, because you blink, it's your birthday when you get older. It's every 60 seconds, it's your birthday.
I know.
What was that moment like?
I don't think it's hit yet. I know. I feel like later down the line,
Theismann, Marino,
I know.
Brady Quinn. We could go down with all these people. You are the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame history, man. We can't gloss over that.
It's a true honor, and I honestly try to step back and be like, wow, that's crazy. Because I remember my first day stepping on campus, and I wasn't, I had big goals, but I never thought about being the winningest quarterback in Notre Dame, especially with all those big names. And it's an honor. It's a team goal. It's a team award, though, to be honest, because there's a lot of guys out there. I couldn't do anything by myself. So I've had some unbelievable players help me achieve that. But I think it'll hit me later on down the line. I'll be like, whoa, this is crazy. And hopefully maybe someone will beat it. So we'll see. Yeah. But it's awesome. And my experience in Notre Dame was just everything I wanted it to be and more.
At what point did you know that it was something that could happen? Or did something that you didn't even realize? Because I didn't even realize. I didn't know what the winningest dude was until you got close to it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I knew we were winning, and I knew I was stacking up the wins, and but I didn't know. I didn't know what the final count was for someone else, back in the day. But
yeah, once
they said it, I was like, "This is awesome!" Keep going, and just really the biggest one that I always had in my head was trying to be. I wanted to win a national championship, but I always had in the back of my head that to be undefeated and protect the house at home, never lose at home. And I was able to do that. So that's special. You always talk about protecting the house. So I had that in my head a few times, but never had that, every game and see who in front of me had more games. So it kind of just happened. And then I was like, wow, this is awesome.
You made it. Well, I saw an interview you gave. It must have been right out of the locker room or something, or when they were talking, you must have just broke the record. And your response was what anybody coach would want to hear. And you're like, I'm not thinking about this. I want to win a national championship. Now, unfortunately, we fell a little short, right?
Yeah.
You and I started talking about this during the end of the season. I wanted to do the interview, and I was like, let's go to the end. That's what you said. Let's wait to the end. Okay, let's wait to the end of the national championship. How do you think what is it going to take for Notre Dame to get over the hump? And do you think we can get over the hump to win a national championship? So we take a lot of criticism, right? You're not out there well, you probably hear more than what am I talking about?
I hear it.
I hear all that crap over here. You guys shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be there. Before we go forward, though, I did my little statistic. There's only been like 3 close playoff games in the history of the playoffs. 3 of all the 20 games that there's been. And there's only been 2 or 3 national championships that are close. Everyone else has been decided by 10 points or more. So we're not the only ones that have some lopsided losses. So for those of you listening out there, go do your research. It's the same. But do you think Notre Dame will ever get over the hump? We're 2 times in the last few years that we make the playoffs, but we haven't won that game. We haven't really stuck it in there. What do you think it'll take, and is it possible?
I think it's possible. I think we're on the right track. We're able to go to the playoffs in 2018, able to go to the playoffs this year. We're getting there. We got to find out how to win it there. And obviously getting there is not enough, but people said, you won't win if you join a conference. We won every game when we joined the conference. So it's like,
take that.
You got to take, I got to take the challenges as they come, but it just takes the little details. And every team in the playoffs is just as athletic as you, just as good as you, just as physical as you. It really comes down to the littlest things that that starting in the beginning of the year, it's everything adds up. And, we're close and we're getting there. And obviously, I'm disappointed that we fell short twice when I was a quarterback. But this program's growing and we're back on where we should be. And I feel like they can do it. I really do. I feel like, the underclassmen we had this year, going to be some great leaders coming down the line. And I just think it's the small details, and that's pretty vague, but it can be literally anything from just doing the right thing off the field to how you take care of your brothers, how you take care of your teammates. That stuff matters, especially as you get into the later weeks of the season. And we recruit the right people at Notre Dame, so we got to keep doing that. And I just feel like we're close, and I feel like we can get there.
I do too. I really think we can. I do think that every year people look at it as the championship wins going away. So Clemson beat the heck out of us a couple of years ago, and then they beat the heck out of Alabama. And then this year, Alabama, we didn't lose as bad as the other team did. So
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we lost, and then
and even when we lost to Clemson last time, we lost to the same margin that was Bama. People get so mad at us, though, right? Everyone gets that pass, but when we do it, we shouldn't be there, right?
Yeah, that's just crazy. That's just Notre Dame. It drives me nuts too. But again, if you go back and look at the stats, the way we played Bama is better than the way Ohio State played them, and so on.
So, but you're a winner. You want to win. The L is the L. We took the L. It doesn't matter if you lose by. Yeah. Sometimes, I should be honest with you, and this as a youth football coach, I'd rather get blown out than lose by one. Lose by one, you go the rest of your life thinking about what you could have did for that one. When you lose by 20, you're like, they beat us. They're a better team.
They're a better team.
And then no one got hurt. Anybody get hurt? You fine? Okay, let's go home. Let's go get a beer. So I get that. So now you're switching over now. So you're winning up. You're going to the NFL. What are they giving you as far as a projection, if you even look at that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I don't look at much, but you hear some of the talk, and I hear 4 to 7.
Okay.
We'll see. Honestly, I just put my head down, keep working. You need one team to like you, one team to call you, and whoever calls me, I'm going to go work hard for that team. So
and you've been the underdog before, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about it. Honestly, I'm having fun with it, enjoying the process. That's what you should be doing.
Let's talk about that process. What is the process like now in a COVID era? Trying to do it. The combine is virtual this year, right? It's not even the combine.
Yeah, so the combine, everybody got their invitation, but I believe it said that they're only going to have people out there that they wanted to do further medical evaluations on. So we'll see who that is. But yeah, the whole combine of everything I grew up watching, I wanted to be in, but it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah. So you doing interviews with teams, or how's that working?
Yeah. So you do interviews with teams. Every team gets a certain amount of Zoom calls that they can call you as many times as they want over the phone, but just stay ready for those, and then obviously get your body ready and prepare like there would be a combine, because basically your pro day is now the combine. So got our Notre Dame pro day March 31st. So I'm out here at MJP in McKinney, Texas, doing all my prep. I'll be out here for roughly 6 weeks before I head over to Notre Dame and do the pro day.
I personally think that's better, though, in some ways, because you think about how many people have bombed the combine because you're out there, it's bright lights, you're out there all day, like a piece of meat, underwear, running around. If you don't like the way you look with your shirt off, it's pretty tough. You got to go through that. Now you get to go to, we call it Loftus, whatever you guys call it now.
We just call it the new indoor. I don't think I have a name.
Oh yeah, the new indoor. Actually, the old one was Loftus. So you go to the new indoor. Sorry for the people not in Notre Dame. These are the indoor facility names, but you're the new indoor facility, where you've been 1,000 times, throwing to receivers you've thrown to 1,000 times, doing whatever. It's kind of better, right? I mean, if you think about it, you lose that chance to shine in front of them, but I like my chances a little bit better at the house.
Yeah, I think we call it the IAC. But yeah, you get to throw with the guys you've been throwing with since your time at Notre Dame. Obviously, that's nice as a QB in terms of chemistry, but obviously dreamed and watched the combine forever from what I can remember. So obviously wanted to do that in front of the big lights, but yeah, I mean, any way you can get in front of the scouts is good in my mind. So I believe we'll have all 32 teams out there and just be able to put on a show. It'll be good.
So let me ask you, going into this next level, who did you admire? Who did you try to emulate your game after when you were growing up and as a quarterback?
Yeah, the 3 QBs I love to watch, right now is a little bit of everybody, just because of these 3 people, but they all have a different part of the game that I like to watch. First is Baker Mayfield. I just kind of I know his attitude has gotten him in trouble a little bit here and there, but I like his confidence. I like his swag. I mean,
how can you not have a chip on your shoulder? You're a double walk-on that comes out and you win the Heisman. You go, it's a chip. You're going to have a chip. You love it.
I love that. I love watching him. He loves the game, baller. So I like watching him. I love watching Russell for his playmaking ability. Super fun to watch. And then I like watching Drew Brees just because of, 1, how accurate it is, and 2, just how on time he is. He knows exactly where to be at the right time. And those are the 3 guys I like to watch a ton. Grew up watching. And if I'm just going to watch anybody throw the football, Aaron Rodgers. I think he's the best thrower ever.
Yeah. I didn't hear a shout out for TB. Is there a reason why he was left off your list? Is it the Michigan, or you don't like tall guys?
No, I mean, yeah. See, obviously the guys I picked are similar to me in stature, but Tom Brady's the best. I'll say it, but I don't not like watching him. But the three guys I like to watch, have similar playing style.
Okay. Now, do you consider him the GOAT of football, Tom Brady?
I do.
Can a quarterback or can a single? Is it hard to name a GOAT? Is there a GOAT?
It's probably hard to name one, but Tom Brady's probably the one, in my opinion. I don't know. Just from when I started watching, he's the best to do it.
He did go to Michigan though, so I mean, there's got to be something. You got to take a little off for the Michigan and
yeah, fair.
So that's good, man. So you're getting ready again, combine. You're going to make this next transition. If I'm a GM out there that's listening, I got a huge listener base. GMs listen every day. Why should they draft you?
I think my playmaking ability. Sorry about that. My leadership and my accuracy. Three things I try to pride myself on. I can bring to a team, and at the end of the day, I just try to be a winner. Move the offense down the field and score points. That's my job, and get the ball to everybody in the perimeter and in the backfield who can do something with it. So I believe I'm good at that. Believe I can be in there and join a locker room and become close to those guys and find a way to win those games.
That's all you can do, man.
Yes,
well, I've been a fan of yours. I'm glad to see you making this transition. I'm glad to see you a chance to fulfill your dreams. You picked Notre Dame. So what's your long-term goals after football when it's over? Are you going to get in the booth? You're going to become a coach? What are you trying to think? What do you want to do later?
I don't know exactly. I wanted to challenge myself and get into the business school at Notre Dame. I was able to do that. Got my marketing degree there. So
me too. Okay.
Can fall back on that. But I don't know. I could see myself, maybe even doing, I'll once you leave football, I feel like you then say, oh man, I need football still in my life. And I feel like I'll be that way. So find a way to incorporate sports and probably football. Maybe that's the business side of things, or who knows, but I don't know, maybe even get in the booth. I've thought about it, just whatever. I don't really have it all planned out like a lot of people do at Notre Dame, but I want to play football as long as I can.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. I think you could play a lot longer. Whenever everyone's day ends, eventually, I think you got a hell of a story to mentor the youth. I'd love to see you coaching. We don't have enough Notre Dame guys to get into coaching. I think that'd be great for you. And again, other than the booth, but whatever you do, I'm sure you're going to be successful at it. Doesn't matter if you're the underdog or the overdog. I know you can do it. So
appreciate that.
And I know you have a busy schedule, and I know there's probably an NFL team that has better questions than I do for you, and I want you to get your chance to go prepare for that. So I appreciate you. Thanks for doing the show. When you get drafted, when the dust settles, I'd love to have you back on the show if that's possible.
Right on. We can do that. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, my man. All right, guys, it's Big Flo. We out.